It's Sunday morning and the talk shows are on and they're talking about gun control again. And I've made a couple of videos on gun control, so I decided to just make one and lay out the real argument for why we should have guns, why guns should be legal. Here's the argument, man. There are risks associated with lots of things, but in a free society, we accept those risks and we still think that you should be able to do those things. Sometimes things are dangerous and we think that we should mitigate the kinds of risks that are associated with particular things by licensing procedures, by prohibiting certain aspects of it, by regulating it. But often we still allow people to do that if they're licensed, if they're following these kinds of regulations. Driving cars is a really obvious example here. We think people should be able to drive cars, but if you go out and you drink a lot and you constantly get DWIs, then you get that license taken away and you're no longer able to drive. If you can't see, you can't drive cars, you can't get a license and you can't drive. Those kinds of things. That's the reason that guns should be legal, because we think in a free society you should be able to do those kinds of things. So it's really just a matter of trying to figure out where's the level, where's the line, where do we decide like this is too dangerous, right? Nuclear weapons, I think almost everyone is going to agree, yeah, nuclear weapons too dangerous. We don't, even though we live in a free society, that's off limits. We've drawn the line there. You can't have nuclear weapons. Slingshots, cool. You don't need a license for it. No one needs to regulate it. You can go out and have a slingshot no matter what you want to do. Guns fall somewhere in the middle, right? I mean, we kind of decided fully automatic weapons, kind of an iffy area. So some people can have them if you do certain things and blah, blah, blah. But in general, you can't just go to the store and purchase a fully automatic weapon. And it kind of goes down from there. Look, we live in a free society. We should be able to do the things that we want. We should attempt to mitigate that in certain kinds of ways. But we should be able to do things like own guns. This is part of what we do. This is part of living in a free society. Does it mean that there are then dangers associated with it? Sure. If everybody's driving cars around, some people are going to get killed from driving in cars. That doesn't mean we get rid of cars. Some people are going to fall in the shower and get killed. But we don't get rid of showers either. As a matter of fact, we don't license showers. We think that there are things that we can do to mitigate it. We do all sorts of things in cars, right? We force manufacturers of cars to install seatbelts, and there are laws saying that if we drive in cars, we have to have seatbelts. There are things we do to attempt to mitigate the dangers associated with that, but we don't get rid of cars. Guns are the same kind of thing. That's the argument. None of this natural rights nonsense, because that leads to all sorts of problems, as I've laid out in my other videos. I guess I'll probably link it below. And none of this crap saying like, oh, assault weapons are exactly the same as hunting rifles, right? The kinds of assault weapon, the rifles that fall under the category of assault weapons, things that have collapsible stocks and pistol grips, etc., whatever. Those are identical to hunting rifles, because of course they're not, because people don't go hunting with assault weapons. Again, I say like I say in every video, some people don't like calling them assault weapons. I don't care what you call them. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's sort of general definition that applies to that term, so I can use it and everyone knows what I'm talking about. So I use that term for that reason. Whether or not you like it, there's a recognition that like this is militaries all over the world use weapons that are designed in a certain kind of way, and they don't resemble hunting rifles. And they do that because they're used as instruments of war. The assault weapons either are or designed to mimic the kinds of rifles that militaries use all over the world, right? And that's why. They're designed to kill people. And I'm not saying you can't own them. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm saying that that's a fact. And I'll link that video below as well, probably. But that's the argument. And I wish people would just come out and say it. I wish people would say, look, we live in a free society. Does that mean there's some sort of risk involved? Sure, we could lock everyone in a box and there would be no chance of anyone getting hurt, but then we wouldn't be free. This is what it means to be free. It means there are risks involved, and we just eat it. We just accept that. And we attempt to mitigate those by having the imposing regulations, and we gotta sort of like debate amongst ourselves to figure out where those lines are. But people who are attempting to push that up and regulate more, they're not evil and socialists and whatever and fascists and whatever other derogatory label is being applied to them. They just have this different standard of what they think this danger is. They think we can mitigate this danger better by doing this. And some people have it lower. Some people say, whoa, no, we should be able to have fully automatic rifles. Most people don't think we should be able to have nuclear weapons available to the general public. So that's a line that most people, some people, I'm not going to get into it, because people have disagreed with me in my natural rights video and said, no, that should apply. I find that weird, and I don't think that's a very popular view, so I don't think it's really worth addressing. But we've drawn that line there in the general public, and we go, no, people in general should not be able to have nuclear weapons. And so there's just a debate about where the line is. And calling the other side's names, it doesn't get us anywhere. What we need to do is just accept that, like, yeah, we recognize that if we have guns, people like gun advocates need to say, yes, there is some chance that children are going to be shot. There's some chance children are going to be run down in cars. It happens every day. Children die in car accidents every day. We should not then ban cars. For the same reason, we should not ban all guns or make it really, really difficult or whatever, right? We just got to debate about the line. And that's where the argument should be. And gun advocates should just embrace that and be honest and admit what they're doing. And let's have a civil discussion and not call each other names and not get all bent out of shape thinking that somebody is desperately trying to take over or do something nefarious, and they're all sitting around dry washing their hands, laughing maniacally, going, I'm going to like take away freedom or some sort of nonsense like that. Get a grip, understand what your position is, and make your argument.